Have you ever walked out of a store having spent twice what you intended just because the physical space itself pulled you in? There is a massive difference between a stark, fluorescent-lit grocery aisle and a multi-million-dollar brand pop-up drenched in neon. The floor layout, the exact angle of the lighting, the positioning of the mannequins, none of it is an accident. Visual merchandising is a highly calculated psychological discipline, engineered specifically to influence your perception and direct your purchasing decisions. For decades, this profession was viewed strictly as a static window dressing. The entire goal was simply making things look pretty to passers-by walking down the sidewalk. But look at the Indian retail market today. We are seeing an absolute explosion of hyper-immersive experiential flagships and high-speed quick commerce delivery hubs. The expectations of the role have completely mutated. The modern merchandiser operates as a silent architect of consumer behavior. In a hyper-competitive landscape, their strategic spatial choices dictate exactly which brands survive and which ones quietly shut their doors. This chart shows the projected growth of the Indian retail sector. It reveals a clear, aggressive trajectory toward $1 trillion by 2035, which explains exactly why these visual architects are so highly valued. Capitalizing on that growth requires intense labor. Half of a merchandiser's job is purely physical. It involves the meticulous physical arrangement of complex seasonal displays, optimizing exact floor layouts, and managing massive overnight installations. Another 30% of the role is dedicated to high-level strategy. This means dissecting raw sales data, analyzing store heat maps, and tracking exactly where foot traffic naturally flows through a space. The remaining 20% relies entirely on communication, negotiating tight material budgets with vendors, and training on-the-ground store teams to execute the brand's exact vision flawlessly. Corporate stakeholders rarely fund pure artistic experiments. By bridging the gap between physical execution and hard data analysis, merchandisers prove a direct return on investment, showing exactly how their layouts create a 15 to 25% uplift in sales. Breaking into this field requires a very specific profile. It starts with an innate design eye, an instinct for spatial reasoning and color theory that is incredibly difficult to teach. But creativity alone will fail. You must possess a ruthless commercial mindset. If a beautiful display doesn't drive measurable sales, it is a failure. Return on investment must always trump pure aesthetics. Then comes tech literacy. Retail now exists online as much as it does offline, demanding a skill called omni-channel merchandising. You have to translate a physical store's visual logic directly onto an e-commerce app's user interface. You also have to survive the physical reality. During heavy installations and seasonal rollouts, you will spend 8 to 10 hours straight on your feet, climbing ladders and maneuvering heavy props. To acquire the foundational knowledge, many take the traditional academic route, a 3 to 4 year Bachelor of Design degree from premier Indian institutes like NIFT or Pearl Academy. However, there is a fast-track alternative. 6 to 12-month specialized diplomas and intensive design boot camps are flooding the market, allowing candidates to bypass the lengthy academic timeline. A formal degree might get your resume looked at, but physical stamina and hard data literacy are what will actually keep you employed long-term. The industry is currently undergoing a massive evolution. Traditional roles like manual floor planners and standard display artists are facing a severe threat from automation and spatial mapping tools. Replacing them are highly lucrative new age positions. We are seeing a massive surge in demand for digital visual merchandisers and AI-powered layout analysts who use machine learning to predict customer behavior. This pyramid shows Indian merchandiser salaries. Beginners earn 3 to 12 lakhs per annum. Mid-level managers jump to 16 to 41 lakhs. The absolute peak belongs to independent agency owners handling multiple clients, scaling annual net profit up to 3 crores. Breaking through that middle management salary ceiling is nearly impossible if you stick to manual, physical execution. Reaching the top requires pivoting entirely into high-level digital strategy and agency ownership. Let's synthesize this market data into a clear SWOT analysis. The core strength of this career is its highly measurable revenue impact. When you can mathematically prove your designs increase sales within a booming retail sector, your job has immediate, undeniable value. The critical weaknesses are mostly physical and financial. The intense manual labor takes a severe toll on the body as you age, and for freelancers, income fluctuates wildly based on peak retail seasons. But the opportunities right now are massive. Global luxury brands are aggressively expanding into India with premium design budgets, while quick commerce companies are desperately hiring specialists to optimize their high-speed delivery microstores. On the threat side, the rapid growth of social e-commerce continues to cannibalize physical store counts. Furthermore, predictive AI software is fully on track to replace junior layout and execution roles by 2030. The industry is violently splitting in two. It is generating massive wealth for AI-fluent strategists, while quickly rendering traditional, intuition-based decorators completely obsolete. So, here is the verdict. The generalist visual merchandiser who relies solely on making things look pretty is a dying breed. The true, lucrative future of retail belongs to the highly specialized, AI-integrated experiential designer. Look at the data we've laid out and ask yourself honestly, do you have the specific blend of analytical rigor and spatial creativity to thrive in this high-stakes environment? If you want to discover your exact fit for this career path, leave a comment with the word "screen" down below, and the Nexara team will personally reach out to help you map your next steps. Because in the modern economy, the goods on the shelf are only half the equation. The retail environment itself is the ultimate product.